Hey everybody, welcome back to the Slimefun Tutorial here on the channel with your host Boomer, and today we are going to start our series on infinity expansion. We're going to be breaking this into 5 parts because there's so many things. Now you might think, well, why not just go through the order of the guide by category, right? Well, the problem is there are a number of items that are covered in multiple categories, and it doesn't make sense explaining the same thing every single time we come around. So I've broken this into 5 distinct groups. Today we're going to talk about storage. We're going to talk about farming, and we're going to talk about mob simulation chambers. Some of my favorite things. Let's get started with storage. First thing we're going to look at is the machine or tool that you need to make the storage units. It's called a storage forge. Very simple. It has basic recipes for all 5 of these storage units. Now, what I really love about infinity expansion storage is that they're fully upgradable, meaning you don't have to discard one. You can use it as part of the next recipe. 2, you can pick up the unit with items in it. And 3, you can upgrade the unit while the items are still inside of it. It gives a lot of flexibility. And there's some more tools we'll show a little bit later. So we simply click here to craft. Hey, we've got our basic storage unit of 6400. So let's talk about those tools inside of them. All right. First and foremost, you have a status that tells you how many you've stored out of how many possible, in this case 6400. Void excess. It's a great question. This allows you, especially in the beginning when you're automating your dust farms, if you're producing too much of an item, for example, silver, tin, lead, those 3 are the ones that we tend to have a ton of right out of the gate that you don't get to use. If you leave void excess to false, your systems will back up. Your dust farming, whether you're using a dust washer or a dust extractor, if there's nowhere for that dust to go, it stops your system. So by turning on void excess, when that additional amount over 6400 hits this box here, the system will void it. It'll make them disappear. It's like they are thrown into the void or trashed and are gone forever. So you think, well, I don't want to waste anything. Well, great. You've got another option then, is that you can upgrade your units through the storage forge. As far as moving items in and out, to get items out of the storage, you can either left click here, which would pull one item out. You can right click here, which would pull a stack out. You can also simply left click here to pull out a stack. And to deposit items, you can either shift left click or shift right click. So let's give myself 1000 cobblestone. We'll do cobble deep slate. What the heck? Okay. So we have to assign something to the unit to begin with. It takes 2 items to do that. The first one flows through to a GUI interface over here. The second one becomes what is assigned to that unit. So if I try to put something else in there, it won't let it go in and it won't store it. It will only at this point take cobble deep slate. So we'll look at the shift left click, deposits my entire inventory. You'll see there's 936 here and the 64 that I had in my inventory that's readily accessible. Now I can pull out half a stack by right clicking, or I can pull out a full stack by left clicking. I can also shift left click to deposit them 1 stack at a time that way, or I can shift left click here to deposit everything. If I want to pull the inventory, if I want to fill up my inventory, if I have enough, I can shift right click. It will leave the last stack in the GUI and that last item. Now as you are setting up your systems, these are fully integrated with cargo and fully integrated with networks, with one caveat that Cephii is still working through, is single or unstackable items being withdrawn out of the networks, into networks, from infinity expansion storage units. That needs a little bit more of an update on Slimefun's part, so watch for that later on in the future. As we upgrade, the advanced storage unit now holds over 25,000 items. The features are the exact same, void excess as well as the actions. Those don't change from item to item, from unit to unit. Simply the capacity changes, but then so does the recipe, and it gets costlier the higher you go. Void storage unit, we're already talking about void ingots, and ultimately the infinity storage unit is 6 infinity ingots, 2 void ingots, and a void storage unit. So they're pretty pricey. All right, let's flip over to our food and farming. All right, so let's take a look at farming. We'll start with the tree farming first. We have 3 different types, the basic, the advanced, and the infinite. To start with, the basic tree grower does need power, of course, works anywhere. All you need to do is take your sapling, deposit it into the input cell right in the middle. Now the basic tree grower will produce results every 600 Slimefun ticks. If you're set to default, that's every 5 minutes. If you look in the guide, we can see what we're going to get. So let's go back to our basic machines and we'll look at the tree grower. For the basic 6 overworld saplings, you're going to get 8 leaves, 6 logs, and then if there's things such as sticks, apples, and cocoa beans. The nether trees, you're going to get 8 crimson fungus, 6 stems, and a weeping vine. So the nether items come out pretty good. Same thing with the warp fungus, 8 hyphae, 6 stem, and of course the awesome shroom light. So while this one is running every 300 seconds, or essentially every 5 minutes, it'll output into here, fully autogrammated with cargo as well as networks. The advanced tree grower, same thing, but this one runs a little bit faster. The advanced tree grower, let's go into advanced machines. The advanced tree grower, why don't I see it? I'm blind as a bat. There we go. This one's going to run 5 times faster. So this one's going to produce materials every 60 seconds. Same amount of material, just 5 times quicker. Now the recipe for an advanced tree grower, as you can see, includes a basic tree grower as well as some, starting to get kind of pricey material. Not huge, but definitely expensive. The ultimate or infinity tree grower runs at 25 times the initial speed. So every 12 seconds, you're going to get results. Now, I actually had a sapling in here before I showed this to you, so that's why it appeared a little bit quicker. But every 12 seconds, the infinity tree grower will produce results. If we go look at this recipe, this is, as you know, if you've ever spent any time in here, these get expensive, right? Infinite machine circuits, machine cores, we're talking somewhere in the neighborhood of 40, I believe it's 40 infinity ingots, 24 void ingots, and machine cores, machine plates, machine circuits, and we're not even up to, okay, Podzel's pretty cheap, 2 tree growth accelerators, 2 advanced tree growers, as well as a tree growth accelerator. So actually 4 tree growth accelerators. So they are pretty expensive, couple machine plates on that side, it's glass. So while they are expensive, they do consume a lot of power, 3,600 joules per second, whereas if we go back to the advanced, 360. So it's 10 times the power at 5 times the production speed, but you have to use 2. So in all actuality, it's 2.5 times faster than having 2 advanced tree growers. So you have to decide if space is an issue and you've got the power, great, go to the infinity one, it'll produce a whole lot faster. The other way to look at this would be to create 4 advanced tree growers and run 1,440 joules per second and produce the same as 1 infinity tree grower. But if you need massive amounts, you may be better off producing multiple infinity. Up to you, your call. All right, let's move over to the basic farmings. So same process, same machine, same amount of time. All right, every 600 ticks or 5 minutes, you're going to get yourself potatoes. So let's take a look at the farming system here. So in this case, everything yields a little bit different depending on what item is that you want to grow, the crop that you're looking at. So for potato, we're going to get 2. Not bad. If we move up to the infinity farm, or advanced farm, it's the same process. It's now going to run every 60 seconds. It's still going to produce 2. And ultimately the infinity virtual farm, again, every 12 seconds producing 2. And you've got the same challenge with power here as you do in the advanced. So again, you have to decide, do you want to run, multiple at 180 joules, or do you want to run 1,800? So again, 10 times the power, 2.5 or 5, because you need 2 of them, 2 virtual farms advanced. So it's the same scenario. If you need multiple, thousands of these per hour, well, then you're probably going to want to upgrade to the infinity ones and run multiples of those if you've got the power to do it. It may be easier simply to set up, whether through cargo and autocrafters or through networks, autocrafting multiple advanced virtual farms, because again, 4 of them will produce the same as 1 infinity virtual farm, but only at 40% of the power. So just something to keep in mind. All right, let's wrap up. We have a couple of items left. All right, everybody. Now, as part of farming, I've also included the strainers because technically you are fishing for slime fun items. Now, we've set up three strainer bases in our water here, and we're going to use all three of the basic, advanced, and reinforced. Now, I've wanted to test this out for a while. This one I've added unbreaking on, and we want to see how this will work. This one I've put the unbreakable run on, and this one I've left normal. As you use that, the durability slightly goes down. So let's put in the basic strainer here. So we'll watch that, and a fishing rod has a durability of 64. So we'll let that run for a little bit and just see what happens. Here, same thing. We're going to put the unbreakable run in, and we're going to see. Now this one will collect a whole lot faster. This one's going to run at 4 times the speed of the other one. So we'll let that run for a little bit. There we go. And finally, at 20 times the speed is the reinforced strainer. Now, I don't have anything on that, but you can see how much faster this one runs. So we're going to get all the basic slime fun dust, and we're going to get some basic materials. I believe redstone and lapis are in here, emeralds in here, as you can see. I'm trying to remember if there's any other ores. We'll let that run. We'll come back here. I want to see about the unbreaking. So it's buying 3 things, but the durability has only gone down 2. So that tells me unbreaking, yes, does work on a strainer. How about the unbreakable run? Absolutely. So this is an easy way to farm a ton of resources without ever having to do a thing. Now, if you're going to do this, I would highly suggest, though, that you do it on the reinforced strainer, and this is where you put your unbreaking. As you can see, the items that we're pulling, I'm 99% sure the other one is a lapis. But there's only 16 as I can recall. So you can see we just blew through that reinforced strainer. So in this case, we would definitely want to have unbreaking on it. Nice thing about these as well is they don't require power. They can simply run just by placing them in water. And as you can see, I placed down my water source blocks first, then I put in the strainer bases, and then added our different strainer types. All right, we have one more area we want to go talk about today, and that's going to be mob simulation chambers. Give me a minute. We'll be right back. All right, and for our last section today, we're going to talk about mob simulation chambers. This is the same as, it's going to simulate as if you were actually killing mobs. The chambers themselves are pretty awesome. Whatever mob card that you're going to be used will simply go right in here, and as the mob is killed, the drops will output into here, and the XP will store here until you click it to claim it. You can pull it out at any time that you'd like. So we're going to build a mob card. We're going to need a mob data infuser, which runs at 20,000 joules per craft. And we're going to make my favorite data card. It's going to be the End Dragon card. We simply, again, have the recipe in place, click to craft. Look at this. So mob simulation chambers can run anywhere from, I think it's 100 joules per second up to the End Dragon of 18,000. So let's look at all the different mob sims that are available, and we'll come back to that in a minute. Zombie, slime, magma cube, cow, sheep, spider, skeleton, wither skeleton, enderman, creeper, guardian, chicken, iron golem, blaze, wither, End Dragon, bees, villagers, witches, vex, phantoms. All those are options. They all have their own unique drops. And so with the Ender Dragon, Void Dust. This is huge, especially if you're going anywhere into the deep end of Infinity Expansion. When you get this going, this makes Void Ingot production so much easier. Ender Essence. And, of course, our favorite, the End Dragon's Egg. Now, as far as drop rates, if I remember correctly, Ender Essence is essentially, it's like 1 out of 1.126 or something like that. It's a very common drop. Void Dust, if I remember right, is a 1 in 4 chance. The End Dragon's Egg would be 1 in a million. Technically, it's like 1 in 1,000,005, but you know what? No one's going to remember the 5, and it's so rare. I've had some servers, I've got 4 of them currently on Royale that have been running for months, and I've yet to get a dragon egg. And I had another server I ran it for 2 weeks, and I got 2 of them. So, you know, it's dumb luck, but I don't seem to be hitting that 1 in a million chance too frequently. So once you've got it crafted, we're going to grab it. Now there is a power requirement for the mob simulation chamber at 300 joules per second with a 50-second buffer. And there's a power requirement for the data card. Why can't I get back into my inventory? There we go. So 18,000 joules and 300. So this is going to run 18,300 joules per second. Get off of the guide. All right, so that's going to begin. As you can see, it's simulating 18,300 joules per second. It's a good thing I've got an infinity panel setting up. And here we go. We've got void dust already. Now, wouldn't that have been funny if the end dragon's egg had popped up? Fully compatible with cargo and networks. Okay, almost everything is fully compatible. And I might have gotten a void dust and the Interessen's odds backwards, so please forgive me if I did. But I know one is essentially, it's a 1 in 5 chance. The other one is a 1 in 1.1 something chance, and then of course the end dragon is 1 in a million. So it looks like void dust is the most common one. Then the Interessen's is a 1 in 4, and then our dragon egg. Anyways, guys, that's going to wrap up part 1 of Infinity Expansion. Hopefully, there's something cool that you're learning here. Get into it. Don't just wait. Figure out what it is that you want to get out of Infinity Expansion and figure out what you can use for your advantage. We'll break up the other 4 parts coming here shortly. We're definitely going to get into power. We're definitely going to get into what I'm calling just machines, anything that requires something to go in to produce something out. We're going to get into infinity ingot production. That's going to be its own separate process. And then finally, we're going to get into tools, armor, weapons, enchanting, the anvil, and anything else that we haven't talked about will all be in that last section. So thanks for watching. I appreciate your feedback, guys. And don't forget, when you're playing Slimefun, you gotta go boomer or you gotta go home. We'll see you later.